VIP's composed. Shit, Richard. Oh my.
10 seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. TNC Predators turn to pick. Ten seconds remaining.
No.
5 seconds remaining.
Nada. Atuasan mo tanong.
Radiant team pick.
Ya तो गया मैसेज दिया तो TNC हाँ
Hear you.
I set up ads already.
You did?
Title is set to go.
Okay. Ready? We're coming straight into the draft overlay.
Of course.
3, 2, 1.
Hello and welcome back to the Monster Energy Dota Summit 13 online. Specifically, the SEA region. Your casters for today and panelists and production is Alpha Plus and Secret Strike.
No, don't
or
tell,
Alpha Plus and Secret Strike.
don't tell him I'm production, because then they know it's me that's messing up.
Well, no, he is a twin brother, which has the same name.
It's my twin brother. We look just alike, except his flannel it's also green and black, but the squares they're different squares.
Indeed, we call him Wasik. Alright, RV Genius for TNC Predator is the next match of the day. We just watched a wonderful match between Among Us and Adroit, which was open qualified team versus invited team. Actually, one of the better invited teams in terms of the results. Let's see if Armageddon can also display what open qualified teams can do. Maybe they've been waiting.
I'm mistaken. I think TNC have already lost.
Yeah, they lost yesterday
5
to Boom
seconds
2-0.
remaining.
Yes, that's right. Yeah,
Which was also another incredible matchup.
oh yeah, that was our last one. Yeah.
I would call it the comeback of the century.
Oh, that's right. That's right. The comeback of the side. This was another. I mean, this comeback metrically was bigger though.
Yes.
This comeback was bigger by 50%.
Yes, but
Radiant team
less
back.
relevant though. Less relevant because when the increase happened was towards the late game where net worth counts less. Like it's not the same. It's like what's the famous statistic? Like if you're losing by 1k gold a minute, right? At any point of the game, the chance of you coming back is very low. However, if it's past 20 minutes, that doesn't matter
10
anymore. Like it's only for the first
seconds
20 minutes. So these statistics, the net worth difference doesn't matter as much as you go
5
later. So I
seconds
would definitely
remaining.
not call this a bigger comeback.
Well, already I want to. I think this is good drafting out from AG. They already have dealt with the Bat Rider here, addressing it with the Oracle pick. It is going to require some nice positioning, however, which sometimes can be exploited by some better teams here, like TNC, right, and some of the open qualifier teams. Usually they're not ready for that such coordinated play style. However, the play style from TNC, from what we saw
TNC
yesterday, was a
Predators
little
turn to
bit.
bat.
Unclean. I wouldn't. Yeah, it was unclean, but more so than that, I think a better word for it is maybe hesitant. Right?
Oh, yeah, so-
it was hesitant. It was when they were committed to it, they did well, but it was the fact of sometimes they were
10
too slow to commit,
seconds
sometimes they were
remaining.
too fast to commit, right? And you could kind of tell it wasn't really all there.
5
They weren't
seconds
lockstep.
remaining.
They weren't lockstep.
Sometimes you need to risk it to get the biscuit.
That's
And
true.
In this case, I don't think TNC did it too much against Boom Esports yesterday.
Yeah.
But to be honest, Army Geniuses suffered from similar issues, but magnified. Because what I've seen from Army, at least what we've seen from Army Geniuses in this turn particularly, right, not in their other performances, but because they've actually done quite decently in other performances and even in the open qualifiers, was that they lack a plan. They lack a game plan. You're not really sure. They don't seem like they're really sure what they're doing, to be honest. Maybe they're understanding Dota in a very different way than what we are understanding.
No, I
they're
understand that they play. I mean, it's gonna sound mean, right? But they play a lot like sometimes you see pubbers play, where everyone is playing their own game.
That is
right?
very true.
Where it's like, and I don't mean that in the bad way, but it's kind of the natural extension of what you're saying, right? Is like last game we saw a really great
10
game from the Lesh, a really great
remaining.
game. It was a safe lane Lesh and then like a mid lane Void Spirit, right, or something like that, for example. But they
5
never
seconds
really like the
remaining.
builds individually were good and they were valid builds.
Yes.
But together in a team in a
seem to
competitive
belong to
match,
different games.
Exactly. They were in two different games. They were both kind of playing the same role, and then when they needed that extra little oomph from a carry, they never really had it.
Yes, and they committed. They often, at least the 2 times we've seen them, because they've actually played 2 best of 2s earlier. They always seem to be like nobody wanted to kind of take the role of the win condition, and they just
Yeah.
give it to someone else. And
Yeah.
as you mentioned, in pubs this kind of works sometimes because they're much less coordinated.
yeah.
In a pro game, if you don't have a clear win
Radiant
condition from the
team
start,
pick.
you're gonna lose. It's just that simple. And in both games, actually, RB Genius has played a really good early to mid game. Their mechanical skills,
Yes.
not in doubt, they're really
Yes.
good, and they play their team fights rather coordinated. It's more along the lines of their tactical mistakes and their lack of a closing plan.
Yeah, like we're not criticizing them for failing to build BKB
10
or even
seconds
failing to
remaining.
use it properly, or even failing to team fight it. It's just the fact that they're not really
TNC
setting themselves up
Predators
with a good
turn
foundation,
here.
and then the team fights go south for them naturally. You know, it's like they all go in at the beginning, and it starts off as well as you can hope for their draft and for their build, but then it's naturally missing a follow up. It's naturally missing some damage. It's naturally missing this or this or this, right? Which we don't tend to
10
see from
seconds
teams like
remaining.
TNC Predator.
And this seems like it's a much better draft, at least from what we've
5
seen.
seconds
Yes.
We don't see the
remaining.
Leshrac because even though it might be one of their best heroes and the DB plays it really well, it was not good.
Yes.
Like, not the play style, it just didn't work for them whatsoever. So I'm glad that they're kind of changing into a more orthodox draft. Magnus opens up your carry pool a lot. The Mirana
Radiant
Oracle are a decent
team
support
pick.
pair. They have save, stuns, they're hard to kill as well, so it's not bad. But TNC's draft, as per usual, really consistent.
TNC
And what's scary here is that they gave him the Bat Rider. Probably... I would argue that most top teams in SCA play an incredibly good Bat Rider. He's a really good flex pick. You either ban it or you try to counter it, and Oracle's okay, but not, as you mentioned earlier, you can really punish if your positioning is not ideal.
10
Yeah, but this draft
seconds
is already
remaining.
much better for Meiji. I have to agree with you.
Yep.
Mag Riki
5
is
seconds
not as
remaining.
strong as maybe Mag Troll, Mag PA, right? As
No,
those
but
two, I think, are S tier. But it's good. It's really good as well. More so because I generally don't really like how if a Riki builds a Battle Fury, he's kind of foregoing what I think he's naturally good at in early game if he were to build a Diffusal instead with the equivalent farm and just kill supports and farm
TNC
supports, right? right? But at least now you have the option to go for both. But this is a good counter here with the Slaughter, of course, with the True Sight. We do have a Dispel for him, so it's a little, I don't want to say it's meh, but it's probably going to be a non-issue here, assuming that the Oracle is nearby. But again, this is just another thing that TNC are going to force AG to do correctly, right? Not only does Oracle need to be nearby Riki, he needs to be in the correct position because he is very susceptible to heroes like the Bat, like the Venge, like the Slaughter, even to possibly, you know, a Tim's. We know he likes to go for the Meteor Hammer and then the Holy Locket, right? So that's something that could actually destroy an Oracle because he's going to have to turn around and run away, and maybe in that time, oh no, the Riki's been swapped and he's stunned, and where's the save? It's not there.
And Meteor Hammer is good against Riki as well, by the way, because you can actually predict it through Tricks of the Trade. It's actually not that difficult. Riki always spawns to the same place when you do that, so he has to be really quick about it, and I can imagine a pro can calculate that. And I think the Slaughter pick, it seems like the immediate obvious answer because Corrosive Haze sees Riki.
Yes.
But to me, it seems more like they're thinking about forcing Riki out of lane, because Riki lanes terribly against Slaughter. He has really bad laning until level 6. He can survive because his stats are great, but he doesn't have any kill potential. So Slaughter pushes you and pulls you out of the lane. And this makes me think that Batrider is probably being played mid, which is also something Riki cannot deal with, because Riki's terrible in the short lane against Batrider, because you need that space to blink strike away. If Batrider has to just essentially dive the tower to kill you in the mid lane, not a big deal. Yeah, it's not very long.
I think there's not really a fun lane for Riki here.
No, there isn't. He's now screwed. That's the problem. You have to kind of play him with an aggressive try, and maybe that works, but then you're putting Riki in an aggressive try.
Yeah, I mean, we're assuming that it's a mag core here.
Why? I don't know. Could be.
For AG?
I mean, yeah, I guess so.
Right? Because I'm what I'm thinking is I kind of like the Oracle Mirana. It's a somewhat decent setup early on, at least for First Blood. It's pretty consistent. Fortune's End and the Arrow. It's pretty good.
But then Mag is useless wherever he goes. Because say that you actually do go for an aggro try, right? And you're fighting aggro try. First of all, aggro try against, say, a Venge Phoenix, because they would respond to a defensive try. That's also pretty good. Like, both Phoenix and Venge are good for trialings. And then you leave Slaughter alone against Magnus. Good luck, Magnus, dealing anything with that lane. And then you have Slaughter as super farmed, and if he gets a lot of levels, you get Corsair Face undispellable. Like, that's also a problem.
Yeah, Slaughter is just kind of a big thorn in the draft here for AG.
He really is. And then, of course, you don't even consider the synergy that even TNC has, right? They have great protection for the egg, incredible counter initiation and initiation, good pick-off potential, nice minus armor. Their draft is looking very solid.
Having the egg is really nice because it's a big, hey, everyone, attack me, that Slaughter can then exploit, right?
I think you pick a carry here, something that's like can sustain or can deal with a Riki decently. Something like, you know, the Lifestealer, the Sven. Actually, Lifestealer's not that great. Sven's pretty decent. I think that's naturally tanky. Troll even.
Troll wouldn't be too bad. I'm trying to think of what else they could use.
They can go for a TB as well.
They're pretty well set. Yeah, I was about to say they can go for something a little bit more greedy like that because they don't need a stun, they don't need a slow. They just need, I think, a little bit of extra damage for now, and that'll be that.
TB is great against Riki because Riki only deals physical damage, except for Blink Strike, which it's 60 damage or 100, so okay, who cares? And he's also an illusion hero, so it's the two worst things Riki hates. Yes, you have Empower, but Empower is not like a Battle Fury. In fact, in these games, Riki will often go for a Battle Fury as a third item to actually deal with the Terrorblade, or in the case of a PL as well. In the late game.
It's a really good draft by TNC.
Really, really good. I wonder if now you pick a carry. I mean, actually, rather you see a mid laner with a lot of magical damage, like a la Lina, for example. A Storm would actually be okay, but that's quite greedy.
Yeah, they need something to slow down the early push. Okay, that's okay. Because I think a problem TNC have is they can only gather and push towers early, either around Metamorphosis, because none of them do tower damage, or after they win a team fight, which is a little hard for them to do early. Not that bad, because of course Phoenix Egg is really strong. Armel is going to be really strong on the Batrider. He's going to have items, but AG, they might be able to just hold them off long enough for the Riki maybe to get farmed enough, especially with the mag buff.
So Sand King is quite nice against Terrorblade early and in the laning phase, but he does have one slight issue against Terrorblade, which is that ever since the change to Caustic Finale actually, when it explodes, doesn't affect illusions any longer. It used to be that, for example, when you had Ags, you couldn't put it on illusions, right? But when it blew up, it still affected them. When you play against the PL, this is great because you detect the real one, so it's fantastic. But against a Terrorblade, you don't care who the real one is. You just want to deal damage to him. And you want to clear his illusions as soon as possible to reduce his DPS. So Sand King is not great against that. He has to rely more on the Epicenter and the Burrow Strike. But his laning phase is should be pretty good against a TB for the most part, especially with the new builds. And you are giving space to the Riki. You have a very clear win condition. I like the draft by Army Geniuses. It just seems like TNC is too good at draft, and I'm gonna give it to them.
Yeah, I have to agree with Alvaro here as well. I think the draft is just too strong for TNC. It's not bad. He was bringing up the Sand King Caustic Finale, which used to have wonderful interactions against PL, and you would basically just one-shot the poor man. But unfortunately, I don't think it's going to be as easy for them this game. We'll see though. Game number 1 between AG. They've yet to find themselves a win, while TNC sit at 2-2 thus far here in the group stage of the Monster Energy Dota Summit 13 online. We'll see how this one is going to get going for them. We get underway with game number 1. Best of 2s here in our round robins. As the GLHFs all around. Nice. They're giving Whitemon GLHF, and this is actually going to be really exciting for me personally, just because we finally see Whitemon in a different hero. 22 July. I wonder what this is all in reference to. UK, maybe quite a few in-jokes here. And that's going to be beyond me and my language comprehension, unfortunately. Smoked up as 4 though, AG, they tend to like to go for these early aggressive plays. So they might be able to catch them out, but they do have the Riki Maru just chilling here. Might be actually able to bait them to go a little bit too far forward aggressively, but we have Whitemon in a fantastic position here to break the smoke on the high ground. And there we go. Smoke's going to break now. They know what's going on. Arrow, though. Be careful for this. At the ready for Limb. Out it comes. It's a very long route, though, and that's going to...
TNC Predators turn to ban.
Fat Rider, he's a really good flex pick.
Yeah, I have to agree with all the magic damage that Oracle's going to be doing, as they will be TPing mid lane among Daya. Nice route there to purge off the 6 stacks of the Napalm. But I think Armel is just going to be out of here.
Armel surviving for now. They almost try to arrow him. Yeah.
It was a good effort.
I mean, there are 3 heroes mid, so as far as Armel's concerned, this is a win. Like, you're still beating him in last hits and denies, and you are currently forcing so many rotations, which essentially sacks your other 2 lanes, right? Not too great for you.
No. Yeah, and this TB is completely I almost used a Spanish word. He's completely unbothered whatsoever here. Again.
Spanish word?
Unmolested. Alright, which is a different meaning.
That is not a word in Spanish.
Well, it's molestado, right?
It's okay. It's alright, Vin. It's alright.
Well, I mean, that's what it translates to.
It does, it does.
Give me a break here.
I'm not giving you a break, son. No, I'm not giving passes anymore.
No passes.
No passes in the street.
No passes on the street. That's exactly right here. But DB, like, to your credit, he's had to completely change the way he plays in this lane when the Oracle's not here, because he's just no matchup for a 1v1 versus KP. At least now at the 5-minute mark, KP's gonna go pull some creep waves, do some shenanigans here, and I mean, the win here for DB is that he's actually playing this lane quite nicely. He's pulling the creep aggro on. Like he's maintaining control as best as he can, right? He's pulling creep aggro with the mid lane. Hold that thought. Actually, Armel might be dead if they can land the arrow, but he puts himself in between all the creep. Nice sleep though, out from Lim. Among Daya though, stunned up. By the match for 6 stacks though. We need that Oracle to actually hit him with that Fortune's End Dispel, but unfortunately he just melts there to the Firefly.
Yeah, it took way too long to do that, actually. You should have done it immediately.
Yeah, I mean, unfortunately, they needed the Fortune's End to actually set up for the arrow. So they used it aggressively for the kill, which I think is better, to be honest, that they do it for the kill rather than save the life of Mag. Because if they both live, then Armel's like, alright, whatever, I'm going to go farm some stacks. But now he's dead, right? And so is Magnus. But Magnus is going to be able to eventually, given equal farm later on in the game, going to be more useful than the Bat Rider, especially with the Oracle.
That's true. But it is true also that you are, by doing this again, forcing a lot of rotations there and giving
Yeah.
a lot of freedom to the side lanes.
Yes.
And you're kind of hoping that your carries will just make up for this later.
There we go.
In trouble. The trick to the trade is forced. They
so
just kick him out of
Dire's
the lane.
bottom tower is under
Yeah, but he's
attack.
getting solo XP here, right? So
True.
TNC, they're doing well. They're stopping his farm, and most importantly, again, Gabby is just free farming. 40 and 14. This is amazing, isn't it? I mean, look at Armel. Armel's even got 20 denies here in the mid lane. What? This is Dendi? Just denying everything?
Yeah, I don't know. Armel is kind of crazy. I mean, with a Bat Rider, it's so easy to kick out with the back Magnus, so I don't think it's that big a deal. Also, it's definitely not MD right now, but Armel's gonna go for the
True.
Boots of Travel as his first item, which I kind of like as the Bat Rider. I don't know if he's gonna take the 2 position as he usually does, or he can kind of fade into the background and let KP be more protagonist. Because I know that TNC, at least back when in the heyday when they were like the best team in the world, that's one of the strengths they had, right? They actually could swap around their cores very often, and they would play 2, 3, 4, doesn't really matter, right? Depending on what the game needed. And this game, Bat Rider can very well kick off his farm, get the basic items, you know, the travel and the blink, and then let the carry be, or the secondary carry be KP, as opposed to the Bat Rider. And that would really screw over Army Genius's plan, because they're concentrating on this lane a lot, but they're not really doing anything to tear.
Yeah, most definitely. And of course, we keep harping back to this TV because he's one of these heroes where if he goes unchecked, he ends up, you know, coming at you 25 minutes later in the game with like a Scotty, BKB, Manta style. And you're like, where did this farm come from? How do we deal with it now? Because I think the draft here inherently with Riki is not well suited to deal with illusions, and not only that, but a high armor hero such as the TB. So something to just keep in mind. It's definitely the elephant in the room right now.
Like, I don't know how you're going to really stop the TV's farm, because you don't have the best people at invading his jungle. Because as I
Dire's
mentioned
middle
earlier, Riki is not
tower is
really that
under
great
attack.
against a Terrorblade. You don't deal that much damage into
No.
the ridiculous amount of armor that Terrorblade has, right? So it kind of has to be sanking with the Magnus to do this, and you have good weight.
Yeah, because the problem is, I mean, Riki, once he gets Diffusal, maybe, but it's going to be maybe another 7 minutes until he gets that. Is CSing just okay, to be honest? Like, he's not doing that bad for as poor as this matchup is. Which is a big win for him, but now there's level 6 on KP, so it becomes a little bit more difficult all of a sudden. As Oracle will rotate top. Already in the jungle, though, is Gabby. He's going to be going for just the Dragon, Dragon Lance into Manta, which is going to be a very good build for him. But top lane, Tim's, he's okay. He's got the Icarus dive away.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
I mean, and another problem is we just have like really good casual saves for the side of TNC, right? Whitemon, if he's anywhere nearby, just can, even with a level 1 range swap, he could very easily save Gabby or basically anyone from what AG currently has to deal with them. So it's going to be hard, like you said, to actually invade the jungle. And DB rotating over to the mid lane, he doesn't want to have to deal with this Vengeful Spirit. Instead, maybe trying to deal with Armel, which I'm not sure if he's going to like that much more. But Armel doesn't have a lasso yet, which means that this damage is coming, damage coming out from the Fireflies a lot more than maybe DB's prepared to deal with at this point in the game. So he's smart to back off. But underneath the tier 1, what's going on down bottom? Yeah, he's going to show up and do some tower pushing here. And again, just nothing to really pressure him. Sand King is rotating down here, but you couldn't really deal with him top, and you cannot deal with him now. He does have the full Veil of Discord, but he's gone here for the Sandstorm build, and it's unrealistic to just kill him with Sandstorm alone without an Epicenter.
Yeah,
And a +1.
exactly. Like, you're also going in there without knowing who else is nearby, right? Because if the Terrorblade is pushing, he's definitely not alone. They're not going to leave their carry alone there.
Yep.
So it was the right play, though. I think he was wasting a bunch of time just kind of being in this dead lane for no reason, because he wasn't actually pushing it either. So whatever. Just small misplays, which is what we're talking about for other geniuses, right? They do seem very often like there's no rhyme or reason to certain of their moves, and this can be punished by better teams like TNC, for example.
Yes.
Mostly that's going to be punished.
I'm really looking forward to see how TNC adjust, if at all, after their loss yesterday, right? As we see a D ward here, this is going to be a kill onto Yuka. Maybe not. They're looking to turn. Nice arrow onto the Vengeful Spirit. It's going to jump on in for the lasso now onto 1. We'll get the kill though. Now DB jumping in, joining the fight as Autumn leaping away. We'll stay alive for now as Armel looking to TP. We've got a burrow in 1 second, but it's just going to be a second late. As Armel off to safety. They trade position 5s for position 5s. About a 50-50 trade there.
he didn't put him in the high ground. I guess he kind of realized, like, oh, I just got a Mirana who has leap, so who cares? Like, I really can't do much against her. And Armel, it seemed like he panicked. It was like, I realized I made the mistake, because there was just no way you're killing the Mirana afterwards. You were really deep into the enemy jungle anyway. It's not quite your territory. But it's also true that TNC is surprised by Army Genius's unorthodox way of playing, because usually you don't defend your jungle this much, this early in the game. Once you lost tier 1, you just kind of swap and you go into the enemy jungle instead. But they're not doing that.
I think that's kind of actually working out in favor of AG, because the Bat Rider he does well, obviously, 1v1s. He's very frequently banned for this very reason, because you can just dominate a mid lane, as he basically did versus the Magnus, right? So it's nice that they're actually doing a great job of defending it, because he's just got boots of travel here, right? So he's very fast and again dominates 1v1s, but as soon as there's more heroes there, he's actually not that strong here. So they do well there, in my opinion, to actually defend it. He's going for Limb, doesn't have the lasso, just going to be forcing the leap charges away. But again, there's more heroes here that he's maybe not expecting. This is Smoke Gang will now be revealed. No epicenter, so it's a bit of actually an easy kill.
Very easy kill. Armel gets destroyed here. And me just takes advantage of this, honestly. Taking the mid laner down really easily. They keep dominating this bottom lane, which again, most teams don't do. But as you mentioned, is working out for them. There's actually a technique used a lot in CIS. Actually, a lot of CIS teams do this, where they will play the opposite of what's expected of them in the space game, especially with smokes and stuff like that, to surprise the enemy team and get some unorthodox ganks. And it's kind of working out for Army Geniuses.
Yeah, Armel was really confident because of this fresh ward playstyle that didn't scout anybody. Whitemon is patrolling here. He's using the patrol hotkey. He looks like a marine that you just have going back and forth in StarCraft, just to make sure that Gabby's safe and sound while he continues to farm. But again, the elephant in the room, Gabby is still well clear of the Magnus in terms of net worth. Dragonlance ready to go. Already has a point in the Sunder, so he's even a little bit more survivable than you might think. Just bringing it up for now. We'll see where he's at in a few minutes.
There's almost an Atos on Tim's, by the way. This build was quite interesting. He's not going to go to lock it this game. So Atos to stop the Riki from blinking around and tricks of the trading. Not bad.
Radiant's middle
I guess
tower
it's actually really value this game, now that I think about it, right? Because 4 heroes have movement based oh my god, English. 4 heroes have movement builds, 4 heroes have movement based abilities, right? Skewer, it'll stop Sand King, it'll stop Mirana, it'll stop Riki.
The problem though is that 2 of these heroes, Sand King and Riki, can easily avoid it with tricks of the trade or Sandstorm, so I don't know how valuable it is.
That's fair. That's fair. I think it still has its use.
Even going invisible can be a way to stop him on Riki. But yeah, I agree. It's not bad, especially against the other 2. It's not like you can... It's not like Holy Locket is that great this game, nor is what other Spirit Vessel. Neither of them are that good.
Yeah, I mean, I think Holy Locket is good normally if you're going to be going for a bit longer of fights early on. But I think TNC are not really interested. I think they're more looking for hit and runs, right? Because right now Venge is going to be super strong right now. 2-1-2 build here on the Vengeful Spirit, interestingly enough. So not really maxing anything first. But either way, this is a big power spike for the Venge, because early on that distance is just massive. You pair that already with Armel, a little bit of extra damage, maybe even from Tim, or KP rather, on the Slardar, and then those are easy kills here. Nice job there, dodging out the smoke gank. Armel, again, just with boots of travel, is able to catch up here and net himself any kills. So AG are doing really well to just deny Armel of any free kills.
Yeah, Armel is not really having the best game, because the AG staff, or the AG squad, is not really letting anyone be alone, which is good. Like, the positioning is quite on point. But when you do this, though, the issue is that you are lessening the rate of farm, right? Terrorblade will be able to out-farm you if they just keep playing defensive. So while this is the best way to deny Armel's like space creation, it's also going to be Gabby just out-farming you in the end. Though Armel is taking a lot of the safe farm for Gabby, which is surprising. He needs that blink dagger.
He just needs the blink, and again, this is normally not an issue if he's able to find a few kills here and there, right? But AG, because of their playstyle, they're not letting that happen. In the meantime, though, let's bring up the elephant, the smaller elephant, albeit, in the room here for TNC, which is going to be this Magnus. Mangaya has recovered and farmed quite nicely. Now that he's got the Echo Saber, his farm is going to explode. KP?
He is going to be able to make it out for now. The sprint, careful. AP, there we go. Lasso Armel, bring him down to the tower. They have amplified damage as well, and they have to dispel it. KP will die to a single shot from the Mirana. Now it's Armel just trying to find DP, killing Mirana as well. They destroy UK first. DP, they get an RP to give him some more space, and he actually healed back up. Instead, it's Armel who's going to fall as the the second core to die for TNC. That is not too great for TNC. They hope to turn this around, but the Oracle ultimate was a bit too good. And Gabby's coming in here. Wami's nearby in the the trees. There's an epicenter still ready with a Veil of Discord. Not yet. I think they can counter-initiate this.
They can try, but he's a bit scary still with the Metamorphosis active. My goodness, I always forget that Riki just has like 7 HP regen,
great
right? So all that's going to be doubled. Of course, you end up being always max purifying home, so that's always going to be value. Really great stun to the Burrow Strike onto 1, but it doesn't matter. DB actually jumping in and murdering the Vengeful Spirit. As look at this, in trouble. It's going to be Caddy. Wow, AG.
Expecting AG to, I guess, commit to that, which is why they kept pushing. I thought they were stronger than they were. I mean, they killed the Sank, and congratulations, but you were still dealing with the rest of the team, right? And they had enough strength.
Dire's top tower.
I mean,
is
maybe
under
they took
attack.
it too much at face value when we said Riki can't do anything against Terrorblade. He does deal damage.
Dire's
Yeah, he's got
top
damage early
tower
on, especially because,
has
hey, guess what? You are up against a Diffuser Blade. And look at this, even Armel might be dead here. He doesn't have Lasso and he can't blink. Oh no, that's exactly the opposite of what Armel needs to be. Yeah,
Yes.
or rather how he should be
Radiant's
playing
middle
on the
tower
Bat
is
Rider,
under
right?
attack.
Bat Rider's normally, that's what he does.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
He just was too easy for him to decimate you.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yep. And by the way, great RP by Mamang Daya there.
Yes.
Really good stuff.
Dire's middle
I mean,
tower
actually,
is under
they're
attack.
playing this really well. And we're about to have a blink on Sand King, so they can actually go again. There's no epicenter in that fight, of course, because he was the one dying, but he completely denies Tims from getting off a well-placed Supernova, and from there, the fight's really easy.
To just be underestimating a bit of the team fight that AG can bring to the table, right? Like, they do have a really good 5-on-5. Now 1me. This is a good kill. Important. The Oracle really tried, though. UK was like, oh no, guys, I'm sorry, it was a joke. I didn't mean to do that. Please don't jump on me. And he gets away.
That's okay. They respect it. They don't have vision on the Magnus. They know he's somewhere nearby with RP coming off cooldown momentarily. So they knew that was a big mistake to continue chasing. Very good restraint out from TNC there. Yeah, unfortunately, just the cast range, right? The Oracle, unfortunately, really needs that 15 talents to really shine on that cast range. Maybe even an Aether Lens can be extremely of use to him. But yeah, for that, rather, Womi's going to end up dying as Oracle still lives, but makes a valiant effort to try and save his ally.
Yeah, I mean, in the end, there's only a Sankin that you got, right? Which committed still 2 of your cores to fight him, so it wasn't that big a deal. At least you're creating space for Gabby, who's going to just farm out of control. And the goal here is just playing around Gabby and hope that he carries your game for you, because it's not...
I mean, it's only 1 death onto him, right? But it does severely slow him down, because that was a
Radiant's
death during
middle tower is
Metamorphosis.
under
They didn't
attack.
get that tier 1 tower. They lost way more heroes than just him, too. So, but, you know, he's still quite farmed. It will allow this Magnus, though, to actually overcome him now, or overtake him, rather, in farm, as he is closing in on the BKB. Maybe looking like he's ready to tussle that with the Blink Dagger. This could be a kill now on him on die, but they're ready. UK off in the trees. Line of the counter initiation up from Umi's. Going to catch 1. Oh, the great swap that will catch back. Looking at the RP catching 2. Careful this Supernova's about to burst, but they actually managed to nuke through Gabby before so. That stun connecting onto 2, but it's not going to matter. Gabby's still dead, and Womi's still looking for more now as KP no more sprints. He gets the crush off, but will die immediately after. AG, the counter initiations here onto TNC are just pitch perfect.
Dire's structures are fortified.
Well, okay, that's not too great for TNC, but honestly, Mamang Dai is playing out of his mind. That was like 3-man RP, right? Yeah, you're constantly
middle
saying those team
tower has
fights.
fallen.
Yeah, the Supernova was
Radiant's
good by
top
Tims,
tower
but
is
they're
under
just not
attack.
doing anything after it, right? And if they kill you terribly by the time the
Dire's
Supernova
middle
ends, then
tower
who
is
cares,
under
right? So really well played here by AG, taking advantage of their faster tempo and now going for Roshan immediately. Thank you for the arrow, they say. Oh, never mind, that's their own team.
They do say thank you for the arrow.
Yeah, because that's their own team, man. I'm an idiot. And they're trying to take the Roshan quickly. Murana actually sees 3 TPs, LYM, nice little scouting there. Gonna set up an arrow as well to stop whatever initiation they have. The Roshan's about to fall, he's gonna take it earlier. Is the Valor going in, but the Age is already in Ricky's hands. And even smoke screen, so Armel couldn't get that lasso off. They want to go up to the high ground, but it's a bit dangerous. They don't have RP. They stop the Ricky. They stop the Sanking as well. They do have a Burrow Strike. King's in trouble, and he's going to play the scapegoat game as he lets the rest of his team flee.
Yep. I managed to get him there as they skied him. They hit him nicely and done. Okay. Another great fight. Good job by TNC. I mean, it was a good effort to contest the Roshan, but it's just going to fall a bit too quick there to AG. Now there's an Aegis here on our Rikimaru. He's just about to overtake Gabby in terms of farm as he's going to get baited by the illusion.
Radiant's middle tower
but we
is under
do
attack.
still know Manta, but going straight for BKB as Gabby. I think this is a very wise decision here for him this game.
Let's see why one. Oh, what an arrow! What an arrow! Skewer to go. LYM. Wow.
Dire's structures are
What a play.
fortified.
Just, I mean, there was no setup for that
Dire's top
whatsoever.
tower
When you
is
can even
under
take the tower
attack.
up top, they're forced to use the glyph.
Radiant's
Not bad,
bottom
actually.
tower
Ricky
is
continues to
under
farm.
attack.
And you're not really needing to hunt the Terror Blade because you're just killing everyone else.
Riki wants to make sure he gets that arcane renewed. Nope, not allowing the TD allegiance to deny it.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
Sorry, I don't know. Twitch chat just memeing about this.
Well, the point is that you are actually not the best observer because you're not showing me that network.
Hold that. Now Armel in trouble. They might get the kill onto him, but they're going to break vision. DB, though, with the tricks of the trade, finishes that one off. Does have Aegis. Great dive forward by Tim, so he's going to actually connect onto 2, but magic damage there being stopped by the Fate's Edict. Yeah, what is this? CS? Everyone wants to see net graph 3 or something here.
No, what is the network? Like, what's the ping of the TNC players? What server are they playing?
What's the ping?
Yeah, seriously. Can you show
Hold
that,
on,
please?
let me just full screen my Chrome tab and show you guys my speedtest.net results here real quick.
That's exactly what I want to watch. I'm not here to watch this Dota game.
No, it's a good meme, guys. I like it. It's a good meme.
It's somewhat wholesome, somewhat offensive.
There we go. We'll take it.
Manta style to TB is going to be completed now, so he has a secondary dispel on top of the Oracle. Not so dependent on Oracle, quite great. And the Terrorblade, let's see, to the Riki, sorry, not the, DB TV. Yeah. To the Riki, he gets the Manta style, and Terrorblade is going for the BKB, which is what he needs actually to be able to fight these fights, because even then, though, Magnus can still catch you, though.
Yeah.
Magnus has been the bane of your existence.
Yeah, we still have plenty of damage as well if Riki can position himself properly too. It's I mean it's not free, it's way more difficult, which you definitely need as Gabby. You're gonna take that, but oof. It's going to be looking hard. And then, again, just AG keeping the pressure up 5k here at the 21-minute mark. Smoke up, looking to go into the enemy jungle. Whitemon positioned again quite nicely here to break smokes, but Gabby, oh no, Tim's in trouble. Oh, RP just committed there, but that's a kill. Maybe a bit overkill, but was hoping for at least a +1. You'll take that.
It's a simple kill on the enemy, one of the enemy teamfight heroes, so it's kind of worth it every time you do that.
Yeah, better to just use RP rather than just always look for the perfect one, right? DB is going to get a free kill onto Whitemon, however. Still has the Aegis ready. There's no detection in between the tier 2, tier 3 towers, which sometimes you see. I'll back it off with evidence that remember the and they were able to turn.
This is really farmed, by the way. I was expecting much worse lane, but the supports that came into the middle lane really enabled Magnus's game. So, well played, honestly, from early to mid game for Army Genesis. And this time, they have a much more clear plan to close the game. So, I think this game is looking good for them. Moonlight Shadow, Riki is now undetectable.
Again?
Yeah, because double invisibility, of course. Tims, they're gonna go for him. Nice skewer. Swapping it. They swap actually the Magnus. He has no RP. He has no BKB though, so hitting the egg. Going to go to Supernova. They do. And the silence, the smoke screen stops KP from actually getting Slithering Crush off. Really good preemptive smoke screen. But now with the epicenter, they counter initiate here. A second counter initiation with a shotgun as well. Killing the Slaughter, turning him into a Flatfish with Riki fighting the Batrider alone. He still conserves the Aegis, but he's losing a lot of his HP. And Oracle says, "Live, my son, live while I may die." DB will survive. Me will not be so lucky. Or I mean, yes, the blow attack actually destroys everything, and Riki instead finds the kill on the Phoenix.
Aegis
Still looking for more.
There it is.
Aegis will heal him back up, which means he can continue to fight now, as he now sees the Batrider. Where are you going, Armel? Back to the grave you go.
Wow. Great fight there. At first, I was like, oh, maybe he shouldn't have graved the Riki there, but it wouldn't have mattered. Oracle was still going to die no matter what, and in the end, Riki still comes out full HP and mana. So I think you'd rather have him running around instead of dead for 5 seconds waiting to respawn. Great fight there. A good swap, I got to say, out from Whitemon. They actually nearly took that fight, but DB just with the AoE denial with the smoke, making that kind of impossible for them to properly re-engage. There's no BKB on KP yet, which means he can't just kind of BKB, blink in, and and actually crush through the smoke. Maybe then that fight goes a little bit differently, but unfortunately he's just not had the kills here. 1, 4, and 3 on him, and his farm actually just about to be overtaken rather by the Mirana. So it's not because he can't farm, he just needs to give the farm to Gabby is the problem, and Armel.
Scanning.
We're gonna see right now if TNC can turn this around with a better team fight. Because until now, I think most of their team fights have been thwarted by DB putting a really good, clever smoke screen, stopping either the Supernova or the Lasso or the Slithering Crush. I mean, we've seen Slithering Crush and Lasso being cancelled in the last 2, right? Very, very impressive smoke screens, and that's the power. It's one of 2 preemptive, one of 2 preemptive silences. Depends on what you consider Night Stalkers with a Static Storm.
Sorry, I was just laughing. Someone in chat with the delay says, "Meh, I've hit better arrows." Yeah, how much money have you hit one with your arrows? Yeah. I always love that.
I know you don't know how much money he's won unless you put the network, friend.
No, I need to put the network as DB getting a free kill there. That shows me for reading chat, so I'm gonna go ahead and close that now.
Yeah, stop reading. You're the observer. You.
All right, see you later, chat.
Unprofessional. Oh, we're actually seeing Magnus Ags this game. He's gone for Assault Class first, but then now styling the Ags, which, in case people forgot, what it does is it lowers the cooldown of Skewer and
Dire's
the cast
middle
point to
tower
mana cost,
is
so
under attack.
it becomes much easier to skewer people, and you can pretty much spam it, but it does lower the mana cost only to 40, so
it's no longer as broken as it used to be. The Dota 2 front page used to be filled with people just skewering teams across the entire
Radiant's
map
top
into the
tower is
fountain.
under attack.
You can't do that anymore. Not
Dire's
if it's
middle
without like
tower is under
Octarine or
attack.
whatever. What is it? One of the tier 4s.
Radiant
Hold on.
structures are
I think DB.
fortified.
Actually, it's Spellpulse.
Radiant's top
Spellpulse, yes,
tower
but
is under
I think
attack.
Slaughter is in some
Dire's
trouble. We don't have
middle
another
tower
Burrow
has
Strike, but they're doing a good job of holding him back. Yep, there's the Yule Scepter.
Dire's
That was a very
front
helpful
line
limb
has been
into Arrow, and KG is dead.
very, very...
I mean, he might as well, right? The TP is going to be basically back off cooldown by the time you respawn. But yeah, might as well have hoped for it, right?
Yeah. It's not looking good for now, as now the Skewer showcasing how strong the Shockwave is. Armel again cancelled. This battler has not had the impact he was looking for this game, honestly, at all.
Not at all. I mean, you hit the nail on the head, I think, with the defusal comment, right? It was just...
farm as well. They're ignoring the Terror Blades because they just want to kill his friends. And now it's time for you to die, Gabby. Silent Stump, pummeled, and killed.
Wow, that's a team wipe. They didn't lose anyone.
GG.
Is that GG? Yeah, GG.
I mean, if they bash you like that, that makes sense. The disconnects come immediately. Honestly, AG, what a game.
Dire's middle barracks
Particularly to me,
victory.
everyone played incredibly, but Mamang Daya stands out as the MVP.
Yeah. I mean, you know, RP schmarpy, right? It's all about, at that point, once you have the Ags, it's more about the skewer. Well, that's not true, but still. Really excellent skewer.